Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind Dale, head out to Chull or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Is it working now? Oh. I don't know why I'm having so many issues with my mic on OBS lately. But hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. That means it's Saturday. It's Saturday. If you're watching this live, you're welcome. Welcome back, everybody. We are here today to talk about items and consumables. We've talked about this before. But, you know, we've got new stuff going on. We've got, like, new sorting in our inventory, so we're going to go over it again. Plus, we got lots of new players that have come in recently, and it's almost constantly we hear people asking about, what am I supposed to do with these, and what about those, and where do I get this, and we're going to go over all that stuff today. Grabbing questions from chat for me today is Gabe. Gabe's in the production booth. So as long as you put question : like it says down there on the screen in the white box, Gabe will grab the question and put it in a little document. They will also get the code updated, folks, I swear. It's just the bot's being a little, you know, the bot thinks it's Saturday and it's supposed to have the day off. But look, the code works. It's Consumables. It's on the screen. Consumables 2024 with an exclamation point. It's all right there. It's all right there. Easy for you to access. All right, I'm gonna turn off probably the auto progress here. So we can sit on this level. Oh, it's a very peaceful looking level. Look at that. Nice. Little bridge. Some water above and below. All right. And let's start talking about consumables. Does it say 22? Oh. It's so wrong on the screen. Typo. It's, wait. Yeah, it should be. Did I do it the right way? Oh no. Did we make the wrong code? You know what though? It is. I got it screwed up. That's on me, folks. That's not on Gabe. That's on me. I did make the code 2204. It's supposed to be 2024, but look. Look, that's on me. Apologies, Gabe. I did this yesterday after I made this code the other day after streaming all day, and I typed it backwards, and then I put it in the document backwards. Whoops. Look, you get an Electrum chest out of it. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's an arbitrary set of numbers and letters. It's okay. But that's all me. All right. Hey, what a way to start off the day. Yeah, I'm living in the future. It's now 2204. Idle Champions is still a thing. There's so many champions in the game, folks. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. All right. So items and consumables. Items and consumables. Look, this is a topic that's usually near and dear to most gamers' hearts because it's loot, right? We're talking about loot. We're talking about the things that you loot in games and get and that give you progress and yada yada yada, right? We love that stuff. And loot in this game comes in the forms of chests, just like the Electrum chest you can get from 2204. Right? There's all kinds of chests in this game. There's also loot comes in the form of gems, because what do you do with gems? Well, you usually you go buy more. Usually you go over here and you go buy more chests, right? But as luck would have it, we're also in the middle of a Planescape emergence, and you can earn corrupted gems. It's another kind of gem that you can then get those spend on loot. And you can even earn your patron currency, and what do you spend it on? Like chests and loot, right? So there in Modron chests. There are all kinds of ways to get fun consumables, items and consumables in this game in progress. So we're gonna go over not necessarily how you get all the. I mean, look, you get Electrum chests from codes, you get regular silver and regular gold chests just as loot from playing the game of bosses. You can also buy them out of the shop. You get weekend chests from the weekend code, folks. If you signed up for the newsletter right here, give them a valid email address. You get a free chest every week with gear in it. Right here. For whoever the weekend group is. Let's see, this weekend it's these 5. And it'll drop, whatever champions you happen to own out of this. That's what gear could come out of that chest. If you don't own one of these champions from a group chest, you can't get the gear out of the drop, right? We just had an event that ended, and there's another one coming up in 11 days. You get named chests for champions out of those, and it's also a natural time gate weekend. So you can pick one of the free champions that's offered to you. Your 3 will most likely be different from my 3. And you can get named silver and gold chests for these champions from there as well. At the end of the day, chests give 2 types of things. They give items and consumables. Hey, we got the name of the show in there. Now, what kind of items and consumables depends on the kind of chest. Silver chests are going to give you 3 cards. It can have an item, it can have consumables, and it can have just gold, right? Just regular gold for use on your run. This is how silver chests work. Items can be anywhere from, on a silver chest, the rarities white, green, and blue, if we're talking colors. Otherwise, you would refer to it as common, uncommon, and rare. And the consumables, it's similar, right? Pretty much most things that can come out of here, the blacksmithing contracts, potions, that kind of stuff. Basic types of things. Golds, you're upping the rarity. You get 5 cards. You get more options. You're going to see potentially 3 consumables is normal. But sometimes one of these slots could also, and you'll see 2 items, that's normal. But one of these slots can be either consumables or items. So you could either have 2 consumables and 3 items, or 3 consumables and 2 items. And the rarity here is green, blue, and purple. Or, as they say, uncommon, rare, and epic, right? And you'll also start seeing bounty contracts like these out of the gold chests. Bounty contracts, we'll talk about all the different types of potions and contracts as we get there. But these are the kinds of things that you're going to see out of gold chests. Gold chests also have a chance to drop feats for champions. So if you look in a champion UI and you see that there's a listed, like there's a gold chest there and a feat listed, those come out of regular gold chests. All the gold chest feats in the game come out of these regular gold chests that you can loot off bosses or buy out of the shop for gems. Okay. Electrums are another kind of chest that you get only from streams like this, from streams and other sponsored content, partner content from Codename Entertainment. 5 cards, and you can get a mix of items and consumables, as you can see here, but you'll also get gems. This is the only kind of chest that drops gems. So another way to get progress, because you're not paying gems for them. They're giving you gems that you can go spend on other stuff. Right? And the rarities here is like a silver chest. They function like a silver chest, except instead of the gold, they're giving you gems. If you want to think about it that way. 5 cards, and instead of a gold card, there's a gem card. Okay. All right, so these are the basic methods. I see somebody saying, "Don't forget Diana drops Electrum chest." Yet look, sometimes there are other ways to get these kinds of chests, but the more the common way is from codes. These are commonly from Electrum codes, but technically any chest could come from codes, but more often than not, that's what Electrums are for. These are Bahamut chests. This is a whole other kind of thing, folks. This is from Trials of Mount Tiamat. And this drops different kinds of consumables specific to Trials of Mount Tiamat. So we will cover this slightly, but you get scrolls, and you get blood vials out of this, and that's it. This is specifically consumables to be used in Trials of Mount Tiamat. And then this is an example of one of our the weekend chests. So again, this is a group chest. It's going to be for there's both weekend and weekday chests. Weekday chests, well, no, they do the different ones, don't they? They do specific ones. The weekend chests are 5 champions, and it's a gold chest, so it's going to be the same kind of rules, except it's only going to drop gear for champions that you own, right? Whereas a named chest, like if I had a named like silver Bruenor chest. This is not something you would come across, but if it was a silver Bruenor chest, it would only drop gear for Bruenor. Let's say, let's talk about Diana, actually. Let's do it as Diana. So a silver Diana chest would drop gear for Diana. If somehow you got a silver Diana chest, but you didn't have Diana, it would still drop gear for Diana. Any gear that it would drop for her would just go in her closet, and she would have it when you unlock her. Same with named gold chests. So any gold Diana chests, you could open those right away. That gear isn't going to be wasted. It will be there when you actually get that champion. But what you get by opening it early is you get all the consumables out of it, and you get access to those consumables right away. And in this game, consumables are power. They are all of the consumables are forms of power to varying degrees. They're just in very specific situations. You can also get patron chests. So again, if you're shopping for patron currency, like if I go throw down and I'm going to get a merch chest, I'm going to come over here, and this is like a group chest. Once again, it only works for the champions that you own that qualify with patrons. It's any champion that qualifies for Mert's patron stuff that you own, and this can be even if you have to slot a feat. To get a champion to qualify for a patron, like say they have int 12, their intelligence is 12, and you slot a +1 feat, so then they qualify to do Strahd stuff. If you leave that feat in, you can open a Strahd chest, and the gear could potentially go to them. It's important to know, right? So, when you open this up, it's only going to drop the gear for the champions you own that qualify, but it's same rules as any other gold chest. Okay. One thing to note, all chests that drop gear, and when we talk about gear, I'm talking about like the items for champions. Each champion has 6 item slots. Items and gear get swapped. I like to refer to it as items because sometimes it isn't armor. Sometimes it's a chair or a stuffed animal. So, the items in their item slots. Any chest that drops items /gear for 4 champions. Has the potential to drop a shiny version of that. We call this gilding, right? Like, 'cause it's like silver, and then there's a golden version of gilding. But shinies can naturally come out of any chest that drops gear. So these and the weekend chests and the patron chests, but not this because there's no gear in this, right? There's no items in it. There's just consumables. But it's a 1 in 1,000 chance, and that chance is true regardless of the rarity of the chest or the cost of the chest. There's no pity timers for that either. So that's how you get what we refer to as natural shinies, and a shiny is a version of like gilding to a shiny boosts that item slot by 50%. We'll talk more about that in a bit. So those are different places you can get that now. Obviously, also you can buy potions in the patron store. You can. There are Modron chests. Modron chests, I don't have any of these to open. I wish I had some of these to open. These drop pipes for the pipe game specifically. That's this whole Modron system over here. It drops these pipes on the left. You can drop white, green, blue, or purple. And there's all different kinds. As you can see, these are all the different kinds. I probably have at least one of every different type. There's a lot. There's a lot of pipes that can drop. But that's all the Modron chests do. And you can also, out of the patron shop, buy other things like a potion of polish, which turns something shiny. Feats. You can get skins for champions, and if it's an event champion, it'll unlock the champion for you too. You can get familiars. Golden epics. Right, that's the other version of a shiny. Patron shops have a variety of things you can get. And then the Planescape shops, the Than Enclave specifically is what's referred to all the time. This just happens to be a Planescape emergence. They have pigments, which we'll talk about. This is a whole other kind of power. Golden epics, so again, for a version of gilding. Skins, feats. And they have chests here, but I'll be honest, these aren't really worth your time out of this shop. Yeah. Supply chests, if you ever run into supply chests, it's 6 cards and it's all consumables. There's no gear in a supply chest. So it's blue or purple consumables. So it's, they're nice because blue or purple consumables, yeah, those are the good ones. That's all these have in it, is 6 of those. All right. So let's hop into our inventory. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do items first. Let's talk about items first. So every champion has 6 item slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those item slots over time tend to have specific types of items in the different versions, but it can vary. But what you'll usually see is some generic bonuses usually in the first couple of item slots, and then very specific bonuses to those champions in the next few, and then the last couple might have something to do with ultimates. All right, slot 6 for the most part usually is reducing the cooldown on your ultimate attack. These are important things to remember, right? But when you first start out, you're going to have no gear whatsoever, and obviously getting gear on your champion is important. This is why you want to take your gems and buy chests and open them, starting with silver chests to try to get, just up to greens. It's very easy to get full green or blue, full green gear, and maybe have a blue or two here with silvers. And then once you're in green or better gear, start buying gold chests to try to get the blues and the rest of the blues, and then slowly work your way up to epics, right? There's a whole strategy to opening chests, but generally speaking, if you have chests, open chests. you want that power out of it, because items are multipliers. Base items, if we look at actually come over to the collection so you can see like base multipliers over here. As you can see, like here's the white is 10%, then 65% for the green, 120%, and 230%. So the base multiplier for each item slot goes up as you get a higher rarity. But just having a multiplier there in the first place is a big deal, because every one of these is going to be a multiplier, and they're all going to multiply against each other to give you power that's going to allow you to push through the game. So for each of these 6 item slots, it's important to keep in mind that that everything in the item slot is somewhat separate. They're all separate multipliers. So when we look at gear, gear is like the items here. That's one multiplier. So you have an item that can go in here. Once you have an item, this item can have item levels. Okay, as you get duplicate items out of chests, because you will get duplicates, because you're going to open chests over and over and over again. Those duplicate items give you item levels. So even getting a duplicate of an item is helping you in progress because it's getting you more power. Item levels are a separate portion of this. You could have 50 item levels on a white item, and then you could loot that would rarely happen, but you could, and then you loot a green version and you raise your rarity while you're still keeping all of those item levels because it's a separate function of that item slot. Okay, gilding is a separate multiplier. So gilding, shiny gives you 50% power to the item slot. An item slot again is a combination of the rarity and the item levels. So it's a 50% multiplier against that combination. Golden gives you 100%. Okay. Golden is usually from the cash shop. There are some other ways to get them, but golden is usually cash. But just know that this means that those gildings aren't required in the game, because you can, if it's just boosting the power of the combination of the rarity, sure, the rarity stops at epic, but you can keep adding item levels. So there is a way to get the same amount of power. It's just if you have a lot of item levels, having it gilded makes those item levels more efficient, right? They're doing more for you. More bang for your buck. We saw pigments earlier. I briefly mentioned pigments. Pigments are a thing that go in an item slot. They go on epic items. A pigment is a separate multiplier. We talked a little bit about, I mentioned Trials of Mount Tiamat. Trials of Mount Tiamat is game content that allows you to get legendary effects on your item. That's a separate effect in your item slot. It has nothing to do with anything else. There are lots of effects you can have on an item slot. And they are all separate, and they are all separate multipliers. Okay. So in general, with this, items, as you progress, things are only going to get better. As you get higher rarity, as you get more item levels, it's all improvement. It's all improvement. So continuing to constantly open chests, get gear, etc., is only going to make your account better. Okay. It is important to note, to get higher rarities of items, you have to open chests. Some people think that, are there breakpoints? I put certain number of item levels and it's going to convert into a higher rarity. Again, separate thing. It's a separate system. Item levels are one thing, rarity of an item is another. So if you want higher rarity, you need to loot. You need to just keep opening chests and loot higher rarity gear. Just putting a bunch of item levels on doesn't help. Okay, so this is items. Items are a big deal out of chests. Getting all the way to epic is a kind of a long-term goal. If you can get just to blue gear on a champion, if you're newer, that's a fully locked and loaded champion. It's ready to go. You can do a lot of damage with blue gear. It's just, eventually you're going to want to hunt for this higher multiplier, right? Getting up, but again, 120, 50% bonus for healing. 150, right? These blues are solid. Long term, there's no way to rush to epic without spending cash, but there's no need to do that. You'll get there eventually. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the inventory system. So this inventory system is where you keep all your consumables, including your chests that you open to get those gear, right? There's just a general inventory page. That could be multiple pages long, and this is what we always did. This is what we dealt with forever. And then they finally added all this sorting system. So we're going to go through this one by one. So you can have your chest, right? Whatever chests you happen to be holding on to. Again, I don't necessarily recommend holding on to lots of chests. I save these for events, but that's because this is a late game account. I have tons of power. I don't necessarily the amount of power I would get out of these is marginal, if not even noticeable, maybe. Really. So I save them for very specific things. But when you're new, if you have chests, generally speaking, just open them. Are there some efficient ways to do that? Sure, and you can ask, and we can talk about that in the Q&A section in the second half. But just know, usually you want to open these, and then usually you're opening your Bahamut chest. But I don't need anything out of these right now. There's times where you just don't need stuff. Late game, you can get into these issues. But most of the time, if you have chests, you kind of want to open them. And there's, again, you can ask about how to efficiently open chests. Contracts. So there's two types of contracts. There's bounty contracts and blacksmithing contracts. I know these both shorten to BC. But generally, if you see abbreviations, blacksmithing tends to be shortened to BS contracts. And the bounty contracts just get referred to as bounties, or you might see them shortened to BC or BSC. But these have two completely different functions. So these ones that look like you're reading them, these are bounty contracts. Bounty contracts are time-based rewards. It's a bounty, like you're getting a payout for something, right? So depending on the rarity, and these can be white, green, blue, or purple, depending on the rarity, it's a different amount of time, okay? And the base function is gold, and the secondary function is event tokens. Event tokens allow you to get gear, like to get chest packs for champions in an event. So having lots of bounty contracts and opening them so that you have lots of event tokens is a big deal in gearing up your champions during events. So as you can see, like greens, 30 minutes, 4 hours for blues, 8 hours for purples. So lots and lots and lots of tokens available, right? Now, I know it does say gold, and I said that is the primary purchase, because that's primary function. That was originally what what people, I think, what they really wanted you using them for. Nowadays, people tend to hold on to them for events or use them for events. You can now use them all the time, though. There was a recent change to the game where now, if we look over here, there is a currency now called event token, and it's generic. Now, if you use bounty contracts at any time, even outside of an event, it will generate event tokens for you. And when the next event starts, this amount will get converted into the event-specific token to use. So nowadays, there's no real restrictions on when to use your bounty contracts. Whereas in the olden days, you only wanted to open them during an event. But now, whenever you feel like it, yeah. So don't be worried about opening these at any time. Now, blacksmithing contracts go white, green, blue, purple, and legendary. Now, legendaries aren't able to be earned currently out of chests. Legendaries are specifically about refunds, which is a whole other thing. We'll get there, but just know that you're not gonna. It's not like, ooh, I haven't looted one of those yet. You never will. You're only gonna get these, okay, out of chests. Blacksmithing contracts, as the name hopefully suggests, are about making your items better. So this literally, it says contract a master blacksmith to improve a piece of equipment owned by one of your champions. So these grant levels, these grant item levels to you, and the higher the rarity, the more the levels. So white is 1 level, green is 2, blue is 6, and purple is 24. Those are great. Legendaries are 120, right? But these are going to give you item levels. And again, remember, item levels make your champion more powerful, right? They make that specific item stronger, the effect of that item stronger. So this is a way that you boost the power of your champions, even if they're not in purple gear yet, right? If you have those blue, if you're newer player and your champions are in blues and they might have a purple or two, you can still boost their item levels and make those items stronger, and thus make your champion a lot stronger via blacksmithing contracts. These are a big deal. This is a huge source of power. Not all champions are equal. Not all items are equal. Figuring out how and where to put them is a big deal. A general rule of thumb for blacksmithing contracts is you only use them on event champions. So there's three kind of types of champions in the game currently. Core champions, that's the 12 that start on your bench when you first start the game, that you don't have to unlock. You just play the game and they're there. There's evergreens, which are unlockable in some way year round to just play the game, or stuff like you can sign up for the newsletter, like I said, to get those weekend chests. But also the first thing you get is a champion hitch. Get hitched by signing up for the newsletter. That hitch is an evergreen. There are campaign evergreens, so like Dritz Doerden, you might have heard of him, maybe not. He's available just by playing a certain variant in the game. And then there's even one in the gem shop that you can buy for gems. Nerds. The candy. Yes, it's also a champion in Idle Champions. So those are referred to as evergreen champions. And then there's event champions. And events tend to be the primary method of new champion delivery in the game. There's an event every month, and there is usually one new champion in each event. Now, the last event we had, there were 2 new champions instead of 1, but usually there's 1 new champion and 1 reworked champion. At a future event, we might get 2 reworked champions, but on average, 1 new champion a month added to the game. They also add evergreens on occasion. There's usually 1 evergreen per campaign. There's exceptions to that, of course. We're actually going to be, at the time where we're live right now, Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we'll have a new evergreen added to the game. But that's usually once a year. So core and evergreens, you don't usually want to put these on. Usually you want to put them on blacksmithing contracts on event champions. And that's because these regular silver and regular gold chests, this is important, circling back to it, they only drop items for your core and evergreen champions. That's it. But because you're opening so many of them, those core and evergreen champions are going to get lots of item levels. So many item levels. So you only really need to worry about adding item levels via blacksmithing contracts to your event champions. Now, Electrum chests will drop items for all champions you own, but you have a much more limited number, so it's not really going to boost your event champions a whole lot. Obviously, those group chests and patron chests, they're going to help with item levels. They have their own specific groups that they'll drop for. But usually, when you're boosting item levels on an event champion, the vast majority of the time, they're coming out of blacksmithing contracts. Okay. All right. Potions. Let's talk about the other thing coming up. So, I comment in chat. You don't need that many gold chests. That's overkill. But ask about it later, and we'll talk about why that's overkill if you like. Potions. There's a variety. There's a couple different types of potions in the game, obviously. But there's also like different classifications of potions. Most of these up here, except for this one, and we'll get to that, are what we just call regular potions. These 4 potions are special. These are usually, again, the community referred to as 7-day potions because of their duration. And this is a potion of specialization. It completely sits outside of the realm of the rest of these. Potions are, consumables that give you limited duration boosts. I'm going to go over here and we're going to talk about it from the potion manager because it's easier. So champion damage potions. These are referred to as giant strength. Gold fine. This is clairvoyance. Champion health. Heroism. Click damage. Fire breath. And speed bonus. Speed, right? These are your basic potions. This is the basic set of 5 potions. Okay. These are all these have white, green, purple, white, green, blue, and purple versions that come out of, again, white through blue is silvers and electrums, and green through purple is gold chests. all kinds of silver and gold chests can drop these kinds of consumables. And the duration and the bonus both go up depending on the rarity. So whites are 5-minute potions. So you can see the value is going to potentially vary a little depending on the potion. Green is 15, blue is an hour, and epics last until you complete your adventure. Now, to be clear, if you have any of these potions running and you complete your adventure, that is, you come over here, you click complete adventure and leave, they will all go away. It is either the duration or until you complete your adventure, whichever comes first. Okay? It's just this one, you could sit in there for hours or days. It's going to last until you complete the adventure. Okay, so these are super great for really either long runs or really deep runs, like either long duration or just going really far that's going to take you more than an hour, right? That's what these are for. And these are more for the shorter boosts if you need them, or for just boosts for specific bosses or sections, okay? So giant strength is going to go in everywhere from 125% up to 1,100. Oh, well, actually I have a bonus. There are boosts to these. Oh, no. Oh no. There are ways to boost the power of your consumables, of your potions. Let me get you the base value. It's a 25% boost. Okay, so it goes from everywhere from 100% to 900%. So this is normally 100%. This is normally 900%. I have a whole other game boost that's making my potions better. But just know, potions can get better. The clairvoyance potions, the gold find potions, 100% through 400%, right? And that's boosting your gold find percentage. Heroism is 50% through 300%. That boosts the health of your champions. It's based off whatever their current max health is, including health share from other champions and feats. Fire breath potions. Well, hold on. Let's pause. So for these three, these are all percentage-based potions. So you can see, 100%, 100%, 50% is normally what these would be. When you stack multiple of these, like if I were to run one of each of these, this does not add together. They multiply. These are all their own unique multipliers. So doing full stacks actually gets you way bigger boosts. But again, limited duration because these are shorter time, right? These are the three kinds of potions that can do that can multiply because they have a percentage that is boosting a specific like damage thing. These are the main three that we're talking about that are boosting like damage, gold find, and health. These three can do that. Fire breath potions, which are the click damage potions, these add a number of seconds of your bud, which is base ultimate damage, I'll talk about in a second, to your click damage. So what this does is this transfers. Bud is literally your it's base ultimate damage is what Bud stands for, but it's literally the DPS of your highest hitting champion, hardest hitting champion, highest value, whatever. It's literally taking the hardest hit that you've done and dividing it by your attack speed to give you your damage per second. So that would be 1 second. And then the value, like a small fire breath potion, is 60 seconds worth of Bud. Well, if the damage of a champion is only 3 seconds, that means you're getting 20 times the damage of your champion in a click off the smallest fire breath potion. But that means fire breath potions can help you clear, even with click damage, even when you can't level up your click damage to keep up with it anymore. Okay, so it's a way to help you kill things and move forward quickly, even later in a run. Now, when you're dealing with fire breath potions and multiple fire breath potions, because it's adding seconds of damage, it's an additive stack. So you're adding the seconds as you add larger potions. Okay. So as you can see, it's going to start off with starts off with 60 seconds, and the highest one is 600 seconds. Right. So those are great. The final potion, and the one The only one, as you can see here, I have so many potions. I've been playing the game for a long time. But obviously, there's some I use more than others. And the ones that I consume the most of are the speed potions. Speed potions speed up your game. They literally make the game run faster, up to a maximum of 10x speed. So 10x the base value. That's the cap. So speed potions are going to start at 1.25 multiplier. So 25% faster, basically. And go up to a 2.75 multiplier, so 175 times as a boost, right? So 10x is the biggest boost you can get. And you don't necessarily need a full stack of speed potions to get there, so keep that in mind. These, again, this is 5 minutes of real world time. The same types of things. So obviously epics are great for super long runs, right? And yes, these are their own separate multipliers, just like these. But instead of stats for pushing progress or earning, it's just speeding up the game. Now there's these 7-day potions, and they've put a couple of them off to the side because 2 of them have to do with the same things up here. One of them, Potion of the Hunter, is damage. It's like damage of all champions. They call it global damage by 100%, but it's the damage of all champions in your formation. But when you use one of these 7-day potions, like there's multiple formations you can have, like multiple parties. Regular potions apply to the party that you use them in. These apply to your account, and they last for 7 days. Not 7 days or until the end of an adventure. 7 days. So this is why the value is small. It's 100%. So it's basically double damage for 7 days, no matter how many different adventures you do, and in all your parties. Okay, this one's 100% to your gold find for 7 days. So these are long duration but small bonus. Small bonus. Okay. This one down here, they put it by itself. They put 2 of them by themselves because these are very specific. This one just boosts, again, 7-day potion, 50% boost to certain end points in your Modron core. This is for the pipe game. And this is a 50% boost to gem drops from bosses. These are... Only thing I like more than speed potions are gem potions. Right? Because again, gems are what we take and go spend in the shop on chests, and we open those chests and we get all of these consumables and power with, right? So this is a way to earn a lot more, 50% more, as long as you're killing bosses. It doesn't boost like gem rewards from the end completing a mission or something. It's literally just from boss kills. So just keep that in mind. So those are the different kinds of potions. For the general potions kind of end 7 days. There are other potions, as we saw one example here, Potion of Specialization. This is a unique function when you have leveled up your champion and specialized them. You've gotten specialization choices that have multiple options, and you've chosen a path to focus them on. If you feel like you want to change that during a run, you can use one of these potions. It allows you to chat any champion that you've boosted. It will then, are you sure you want to do it? And then you can change the specialization and put it somewhere else. Okay, I say, okay, well, I've done that now. I just want to do this now. And it's changed for that run. Okay. There's other workarounds for doing that don't require potions, but that's what this potion exists for. There's, as we saw in the shop, in the patron shop, there's a potion that can make a shiny. They can gild in the patron shop. There's ways to get shiny potions. See, potions of polish is what they're called, but it takes the gilding from normal to shiny. There's also a potion of golden epic potion. And these are super hard to come by. These are pretty hard to come by. These are super hard to come by. And this turns anything, not only does it make it golden, it makes it epic if it wasn't already. So you could literally have a white item. You drop a golden epic potion on it, and it gilds it with gold, which is the 100% boost of the slot, and makes it epic rarity. There's a reason these are very limited. You don't come across them often. Okay. Do they have any other potion? I don't think there's any other potion right now. Oh, there is one more kind of potion. I don't have one of those to show off either. There is a potion called a legendary potion. Again, I talked about legendary effects earlier. Legendary effects are a function of Trials of Mount Tiamat and the Legendary Forge, where you can put legendary effects on. You get random legendary effects on an item that increases something, and then you can level that up. So, like, I have a level 10 legendary effect here on Stingy, on Spurt. There are times where you will get legendary potions, sometimes as rewards for things, and sometimes because of what we call a dismantle event, where you could take, there's a legendary dismantle and a full dismantle. Legendary dismantles pull all of these legendary bonuses off of a champion, so you could put them somewhere else. And when they do, what would happen is if I were to legendary dismantle Spurt, I would get 3 level 10 legendary potions, 1 level 9, and 2 level 8s. And basically, I could put that level of a legendary effect on any other champion. Even if that champion already had legendaries, like I could put it on Jarlaxle. Jarlaxle would then have these numbers, and I would get refunded the 6 level 1s, and I could move those over to Spurt if I wanted. That's what happens in a legendary dismantle event. But there are times where you can just get a level 1, or sometimes it's a level 3 legendary potion as a reward for something. Very rare. Currently very rare. So not something you're potentially going to see a lot of. They're usually high level rewards for event tier completion. Either a tier 3 or a tier 4 reward. But they can come from dismantle events as well. Stop it. That's a silly bug. And there's one other potion, right? No, that's it. Pigments work like a potion. Let's talk about pigments real quick, since they work like a potion. We'll jump down. So we're going to go from potions down to pigments. Pigments are these. There's 4 different kinds of pigments. The pigments, these are Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments. This is an actual D&D item. And it is a set of paints. It's pigments. A set of paint pots. And there are 4 different pots, if you get this in D&D. One is a little green froggy, like we see here. One is a little white skull. One is a strawberry, a red strawberry. And one is a blue fish. Okay. So, the froggy pot has green paint. The skull pot has black paint, not white. The strawberry pot has red paint, and the fish pot has blue paint. These are Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments. The way this translates on Idle Champion is the froggy is a support pigment, and it adds triple damage to any support champion. You add it to an epic item. It can only go on epic items, and you'll see a little froggy on the left of the card and a splash of color across it. It's been marked with that paint. And you can add it as long as that champion has the support role. Okay? Because it is a support pigment, it can only go on a support champion. Right? So the types of pigments you can put are based off a champion's role. The way it works is the froggy is a support pigment, the skull is a DPS pigment, the strawberry is a healing pigment, and the fish is a tanking pigment. So Briv could have tanking, healing, and support pigments. In fact, I've got 2 of those 3. I've got a fish on him, the blue fish, and the green froggy. Okay, Briv is not a DPS, so he could not get a skull pigment, but if I had extra healing pigments, I could put one over here. I have a healing. There's only been 1 healing pigment out of the game. I put it on Orkira. That's the red splash over here. And there are DPS pigments. Do I have one on Carlock? I do. I have one on Carlock here. So Carlock is DPS, tanking, and support. I have all three of those pigments on at least one of her cards. Okay. So you can have a pigment per item per type. Per type, right? So Carlock is a DPS tanking support champion. As long as I have 6 epic pieces of equipment, I can have 6 pigments of each of those types. And they are all their own unique multipliers. Okay. So the support pigment is triple damage to your party per pigment. All unique multipliers. They add up a lot. DPS pigment is 5x damage to just that champion, because they're the DPS champion. The tanking pigment is 100% health for that champion. And the healing pigment, I just want to make sure it should be 100% healing for the party. So not just coming out of this champion. The party gets double healing, which makes it real strong. There's only one of them in the game. There's only one of them so far in the game that's been available. Hopefully we see more soon. Okay. So if you want to put a pigment on a champion, you need to make sure that champion has that role, right? If they don't have that role, you can't put that pigment on them. All right. So it's potions and pigments. Pigments, again, that all of the pigments go on items as kind of part of the item slot. Epic only. Legendary effects can only go on an epic item as well. Pigments and legendary effects are, late game, mid game on progress. Once you've accessed Trials of Mount Tiamat, but it requires epic gear to unlock that potential, right? Scrolls, again, this is part of Trials of Mount Tiamat. Scrolls only help you in Trials of Mount Tiamat. They are looted out of Bahamut chests. Bahamut chests are rewards from completing Trials of Mount Tiamat. Each scroll has a different function. So Desperation is triple damage, and you can only have a certain number of them you can use in a single trial campaign. Brutality is 5x damage. Abundance is triple gold find. Wealth is 5x gold find, and Assault is assault party damage 5%. I know it's a small value, but that's because it's such a big deal. So yes, this is only trials. It doesn't matter anywhere else. When you're doing a trial at Mount Tiamat here, and you pop the potions, you just click, or you pop the scrolls. Excuse me. You click on them from here. It'll tell you if you already have reached the max for the adventure, which we have. But the stacks show up over here, and they apply to, like here, 20 stacks of this ends up at E11 damage. 10 of this is EO8, so there's actually more damage coming off the smaller value one than the bigger if you're using the max. Yeah. So there's ways to boost your damage and your gold find. Assault Party boost multiplies the number down here on the bottom right up to a max. So this just helps you complete your Trials of Mount Tiamat faster if you don't have the damage. I have so many because, honestly, at a certain point, they're unnecessary. I burn them just to burn them, I think. I think we all do. We don't really need them later on. But early on, yeah, you very much can need them. It can make the difference in if you're doing random groups going through Trials of Mount Tiamat, it can be a big deal. All right. Currencies. There are a number of different types of currencies. They all get dumped into one place. So let's talk about each of these separately. Obviously, we already talked about green gems. Green gems obviously are the primary form of currency in Idle Champions. They drop off bosses. When you kill a boss drops a bag, a little brown bag. And out of that bag can come a variety of things. The primary thing that you want are green gems. Sometimes it can also drop a chest of some kind, either a silver or a gold chest. It's the regular ones. And then based off other champions you might have in, some champions have abilities that can cause boss bags to include other items. The aforementioned Diana is one. Diana is a scavenger. So there's scavenger champions who when you kill bosses, there's a chance that something new appears in that bag. And for Diana, it's Electrum chests. For Strongheart, who is another scavenger, it's event tokens. And for Presto, who's another scavenger, it is Modron component pieces. This is not pipes. These are the upgrade pieces that can upgrade pipes to a higher rarity of pipe and thus get you more powerful stuff in the pipe game. So different kinds of scavengers. There are also some kind of champions that make boss bags drop things just for that champion, just for that, for them. Like Black Viper can cause a boss to drop red gems. And those only matter to Black Viper. Those don't go in your inventory. Those go into her stat sheet. Okay. Things like that. They can do things like that. So, green gems, though, these are the big ones that drop out of the boss bags. Also, when you're doing regular adventures and regular variants, the base versions of things, you'll get rewarded when you complete them with green gems. And the number of green gems is based, that you get as the completion reward, is based on the number of areas that you were required to go. I believe it's 2 gems per area. So like a completion area 50 should give you 100 gems. I think that's how it works. Another currency is time gate pieces. Obviously, time gate pieces let you manually open time gates, and time gates reward you, or one of the other ways you can unlock event champion. Events are the first one. It's right in the name. But you can do it. You can time gate any event champion in the game as long as you got 6 time gate pieces. They're also now used in events to open up your flex slots for past event champions, and you need 3 of them for each flex slot. Okay, so there's different uses. There's a couple different ways to use time gate pieces to get these. These just drop on a timer. You can't farm them. They drop off a boss once every 5 days. That's when the timer resets. But on average, it's 5 days. So as long as you're killing bosses, you can get one. If you were sitting like I am on this for 6 days, nothing would drop because there's no boss here. Right? So as long as you're playing the game, you'll get your time gate pieces. You can also buy a time gate piece a week out of each patron shop. Each patron shop will sell you 1 a week. So that's another way to get extras. As you unlock patrons, you can then get access to champions faster. All right, event tokens we already covered. This is covered in the currency. Corrupted gems. Again, we have a Planescape Emergence event. These are the big way you can earn corrupted gems. You only spend them in that Thayan Enclave for very specific pieces of loot. They kind of, it's a time-based thing. So like right now, the available is 11,954. I have 11,954. But every so often, this number is going to tick up like we just said it do. Now, it says 31,500 maximum. That's after 9 days. Like 12 hours into the 9th day, it will be at max, and then you could catch up to max. So you have a maximum looting available in free plays. They're going to drop in free plays. They'll also drop anywhere these NPCs are in a regular adventure. Don't worry about that. Just free plays. Just do free plays. And you can catch up like I did real quick. And then you can get a bunch from quests. And that's every day you have a quest that rewards you 3,500 every day, 3,500 corrupted gems you can earn. All you got to do is kill 100 of those NPCs. So a free play a day, kill 100 of those at least. And then you could always, on the 9th day, you could always then run a bunch of free plays and then cap out on the looted ones. Really, this is the big bulk of how you earn corrupted gems. However, we now have a guide and collection quests, and I don't have any that would show you this right now. But here we go. If I come back to some of my completed quests, you can get small amounts of corrupted gems, 250 to 500, by completing quests. Oh, 1,000 for that one. Don't necessarily, in the current state of the game, I wouldn't say you need to chase these at all. You can also, as you can see, you can earn chests here. Varieties of different kinds of chests. These are like, hey, you were doing this stuff and you earned it. Okay, cool. Enjoy, right? But that's not necessarily farmable. There are also a limited number of variants in the game that can reward you corrupted gems. When they first dropped this system, they added in a couple variants whose rewards were corrupted gems instead of regular gems. Or maybe an addition. I can't even remember anymore. They haven't done that again. In the last event, they tested out an event system where for tier 2, 3, and 4 variants, if you completed those higher tier variants, you also got like 300 corrupted gems with them. So they're looking at other ways to introduce corrupted gems to give you more of them. But no, the primary method is Planescape, the emergence events, which happen fairly regularly, every few months. Maybe every 3 months. It depends. It can bounce around. It's not a fixed schedule. And then the secondary method is quest rewards. Okay, anything else is currently a far third, right? All right, that was the corrupted gems. Vials, lesser blood vials. This is for Trials of Mount Tiamat. If you want to start a trial run, it takes anything above the base version, tier 1 normal, requires that you have this blood currently to access the higher tiers. You have to spend it to get in. There are also prismatic blood vials. Instead of a number of these, like at my tier, it takes 14 of these to start a run. I could just use one of these. These are usually paid. You can buy these out of the shop. I have a bunch because over the last few years, they have given them out during like quarterly celebrations, and I've just never used them. Right, and then the final currency is Scales of Tiamat. This is also what you loot in Trials of Mount Tiamat. You loot the scales that came off when you were beating her until she ran away. And you use these to forge the legendary gear. This is how you get legendary effects on gear. You have to have these to a certain number of these to create legendary effects and to upgrade them. And, that should be everything. I think I've got I had most of the things that we were covering in the game. That's all the current items and consumables. Now, 2 of the 3 scavengers we have in the game, Diana and Presto, are part of the Saturday Morning Squad, which is the affiliation associated with the Saturday morning cartoons. Strongheart appeared on the cartoons, and so is a scavenger as well. Dungeon Master appeared on the cartoons, but doesn't have a scavenge effect. But it has kind of led us to believe that this affiliation, as we get more of them, and there are more of them coming, based off seeing these conversations, they're probably all going to be scavengers of some kind. So there's probably going to be more kinds of things that you will be able to pick up that will be added, within the next year or so as we get these other champions into the game. So just know that they will, CNE is adding new types of consumables and currencies and things as necessary, as they deem necessary. A big one potentially coming up that they have talked about and confirmed and say that there is a release date. We just don't know. We don't know when that is. Is they're adding what they've referred to as an alchemy system, which we take to mean, and based off conversations, that you will be able to turn potions into other potions. So, like, I have all of these I don't really use, and maybe I'll be able to turn them. The idea is to be able to turn them into speed potions. There's probably some lootable, consumable thing we're going to need to do that with, right? So just know there's probably other consumables coming in the future. And anytime they add new systems to the game, there's probably some kind of lootable thing that we're going to need to track. So, but this covers everything that's current up to 2024, not 2204, like I put in this code, but 2024. So this is the current state of the game as of July 2024. We'll see where they take it from here. All right, we're going to take a short musical interlude while I rest my voice and drink some water. We're going to come back and I'm going to hit the Q&A. I only have like 8 questions over here. So if you've been asking questions and you haven't been putting question colon in front of it, it's probably not over here. So please put question colon in front of your questions, and then it'll end up here. Or if we run out of questions, I'll try to dig through chat, but chat can disappear. So question colon, please. I'll be right back, folks. This is Kobolds, our number one.
Kobolds are really tough. Kobolds will steal your stuff. Kobolds we like to sing. Kobolds will take your things. Kobolds live underground. Kobolds we run around. Kobolds we like the dark. Kobolds don't need no art. We may be small, we may be last, but we are many and we're coming fast. So hide all your gold and pack up your tools. We'll stomp on your toes and steal all your jewels. Kobolds covered in scales. Kobolds, we have cool tails. Kobolds, we're not that short. Kobolds, we're in your port. Kobolds come from dragons. Kobolds drain your flagons. Kobolds deserve the praise. Kobolds are really brave. We may be small, we may be last, but we are many and we're coming fast. So hide all your gold and pack up your tools. We'll stomp on your toes and steal all your jewels. Shiny rocks and bits of string, skulls and bones and slimy things, hunting treasure, lots of fun. Kobolds take your stuff and run. Kobolds we like the best. Kobolds smarter than the rest. Kobolds hide in your group tree. Kobolds stack tall as you. We may be small, we may be last, but we are many and we're coming fast. So hide all your gold and pack up your tools. We'll stomp on your toes and steal all your jewels. Kobolds, we fight it hurts. Kobolds, we forget words. Kobolds are super fun. Kobolds are number one.
Oh, that was fast. Sorry. I was digging through chat for some people asked questions or made comments, and I wanted to talk about them. I saw them out of the corner of my eye during that, so I put them into the document as well, and I will get to them. But please, as I'm seeing, more people are putting question colon. Thank you. That's the way we get it. That's the way we get it over here, because otherwise, we might just assume you're asking chat, right? All right, so I'm going to go through and hit the stuff that's on topic first, and if we have time, we'll go back to the rest. I think we're going to have time. We got like 45 minutes. Captain Wiggly, can you ever manually swap gear, or is it always auto-equipped? Would there be any reason to swap it? No, there's no reason to swap it. This is not an MMO. There aren't different types of gear. I play other games that have different types of gear, and you've got to, not only do you have to get the champion and optimize the champion, but then you got to find like the perfect gear for them. And look, sometimes I like crunchy games like that, and sometimes I don't. This game this is creamy peanut butter, not crunchy peanut butter. So every champion has 6 pieces of gear that are tailored to that champion, and once you loot them, that's it. Once they go in that slot, they've got their gear, and then all you have to worry about is the rarity of it and item levels and gilding and adding legendary effects and pigment. But yeah, there's a lot going on there still, but it all is only better. And the whole thing of, oh, did I put the right gear on them? You have to worry about that here. I like it so much. I like it so much. I like it better. I play one of those crunchier games, and it's like, oh, it just gives me a headache sometimes. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Crunchy peanut butter has its place. But yeah, you don't have to, there's no reason to swap your gear around. It's always going to upgrade to the highest rarity of item. You're always going to just get what you need as you go up. Hoopla Zoopla. For Modron chests, are there any guarantees, such as for getting an epic pipe every 10? So this is one thing I didn't mention about chests, gold chests specifically. We can go back. You can see this little purple bar, like it's a gray bar and it's got some purple in it. This is the pity timer. All gold chests have, well, gold chests that drop gear and the Modron chests have pity timers. I was gonna say all gold chests, but not all gold chests, right? So items, anything that drops gear for your champions can have a pity timer, as long as it drops epic. And this is because there's no guaranteed way to get an epic except random luck or a pity timer, right? So what happens is the pity timer, the standard pity timer is 10. So if you open 10 chests that could drop an epic piece of gear or an epic pipe, if you open 9 and you don't get one, the 10th one will give one to you. If you open 3 and you get one, the pity timer resets. Okay. When you first encounter a gold chest that drops gear for a champion, like a weekend chest, the pity timer starts at 4. This is a bonus they do the first time you get a chest. But from that point, after that, it's 10. It's 10. So yes, you can get pity timers for epic pipes. What I really would like you to understand about the pipe game, though, and I'm going to go over here and show it off. It gives some people a headache. What I want you to understand about the pipe game is that the rarity of your pipe early on, the rarity of your pipe isn't, well, even later on, isn't as important as the shape and directionality. I did not go deep into like the different types of pipes and things in items and consumables because I feel like that's just part of the pipe game. There's other tutorial shows I have up on the Cena Games YouTube about that. And there's a great website, Encyclopedia Modronica, that Emote does. That's fantastic. I mean, find all that information. But there are rarities of pipes. There's a certain type of shapes that are at lower rarities. And then when you go up a rarity, you get new shapes. Like if you'll notice, there's no T's or X's here. But in green, suddenly there's T's. Right? But they're non-directed T's. And there's some directed shape. Like this is non-directed. And then suddenly the higher rarity has directed versions. And then it introduces a new shape that's non-directed. And then the higher rarity has directed versions of that, which has arrows that point in different directions. This is what we mean by directions. The arrows that move the flow in different directions. And then it has a new shape, and it's the cross piece. And then finally, Epic has all the directed versions of all the different pieces, including cross pieces. So while Epic is important because it has the biggest multiplier, the shape and directionality is incredibly important because you can get, I remember we talked about, slightly talked about component pieces. This is what Presto scavenges. And you can upgrade pipes, any pipe of a lower rarity to the higher rarity using these components. Now, what you would want to upgrade are directed ones. And when you do, if you upgrade a directed green to a directed blue, it's the same kind of blue you would loot, and a blue to a purple, same kind of purple you would loot. Keeps the directionality. But what you can't upgrade, you can't take a non-directed pipe and turn it into a directed pipe. And that's where the rarity kind of falls away as being the important thing in Modron automation. Ultimately, you do want things to purple, but you can get them there other than looting. And what becomes the most important thing is looting the proper directed pieces. So starting off, it's looting directed T's. And directed tees do have to be at least blue rarity. But as long as you get blue rarity directed tees, you can start making these things we call buff boxes through here, right? And you can always upgrade the rarity with component pieces. You don't necessarily have to loot the epics. The thing you want about epics, though, is the chance to get a directed cross. These are the hardest pieces to come by. These are the ones that those of us at late game and end game, even now, I need more. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I need different directions, like I've only got 2 of this one. I got like 8 of this one, but this might be the one that I need the most of, right? Like, so the rarity is neat. Shape and directionality far more important, and there's no pity timers for those kinds of things. El Jefe, can you have more than one type of pigment on a piece of gear? Yes, 1 per roll. For example, can you have both support and DPS on the same piece of kit? Yes, I have that on my car lock. Again, I'll show off my car locks. Slot 1. I have tanking, DPS, and support in order, starting from top to bottom here. So as long as the champion has those roles, and Carlock has DPS, tanking, and support, you can put those pigments on that champion. 1 per epic item, per roll. Okay, speed of slow. Sorry, I'm going through some that are general, and we will get back to those, folks. If I'm not addressing your more general question, I will get back to it. But right now, I'm trying to stick to specific items and consumables. Speed of slow. What's the most efficient way to get event champions to purple rarity? And later item levels. Item levels again, blacksmithing contracts, right? Can you just get can you farm them in an event? Can you get spend lots of tokens on them in an event? Sure. Yes. Lots of tokens come from bounty contracts, right? Bounty contracts then turn into chest packs in an event. Chest packs turn into duplicate item levels. But ultimately, getting the rarities are going to come from opening up lots of chests. There are 4 event champions specifically, because again, Core and Evergreen get their gear from regular silver and gold chests. So when Ren, that's an upcoming Evergreen champion, when Ren arrives on Wednesday, you would open, to gear her up, you would open regular silver chests until she's green gear or better. Green in all of these slots or better. Green is the important breakpoint. And this is because of the rules of gold chests. So get greens, because blues out of silver chests are hard to come by, and if you don't have lots, if you're unlocking Ren, you've got plenty. But the idea with an evergreen is that you just get them to green with regular silvers, and then you move to golds. The reason is there are rules for gold chests. Gold chests will guarantee you a piece of blue gear, a blue item, for a champion, and guarantee you an upgrade. Now, the upgrade, it doesn't guarantee that the blue is the upgrade, though. And because it can drop green, blue, and purple, the upgrade could be a green. And it feels real bad when your upgrade out of a blue chest is a green. Right? Like your new item, guaranteed new item, is a green. You can get that out of a silver. Golds cost 10 times as much, so get those out of the silvers first. So get the greens out of the way from the silvers, and then every gold chest you open will drop a blue. Okay? That's the efficient way to get to blue or better gear. This is what you're trying to do in an event. Because there is no efficient path to epic. I know that was your question, but that's not a thing. Epic has to do with either luck or pity timers. Okay? So, what we're trying to do in an event when you unlock a new champion is get them to blue efficiently. And to do that, silvers, there are 2 paths. Evergreen is just silvers into regular silvers into regular golds. You're fine. Don't use electrums. For event champions, there's 2 paths. One is the very easy to understand and remember way. I'm going to talk about that one first. There's another that's complex and crunchy. Not everybody wants to get that specific about it. The very general, easy way is basically just three steps. Start with electrums. Start with electrums chests. Electrums drop gear for any champion you own, yes. But when you get a new event champion, whether out of a natural time gate like this weekend or out of an actual event, and they have no gear, electrums will basically funnel into that ungeared champion first to try to get them up to the same levels. Basically, you're filling in like a gap in the water. And once their gear rises up to the levels of everybody else, then it starts going random again. So electrums are going to go in to that new champion, and you can use them to help get you to green or better gear first. Okay. You save named silver chests from the chest packs in case you didn't get enough greens, in case there's some whites or some empties. And then you do that second. Okay. If you get to green or better, you still do the named silvers next, because it's focusing. The named silvers and named golds are going to go on that champion. You want the random chest first until it normalizes. And then the others are going to give you duplicate item levels and a chance at blues. Right? So it's not only is it helping you get to blue more efficiently, it's focusing a little more power there too. Right? Now, once you get to green or better, then you could then start opening your named golds. Each chest is going to drop a blue, and again, after 4 chests, if you didn't get lucky and get an epic, 4 chests is then an epic. So in an event, usually you're guaranteed, the worst gear you should get if you're following this method is 5 blues and 1 purple. Guaranteed. There are enough event tokens naturally, and enough chests just from doing tier 1 of an event, and everyone can do tier 1, to get to this state on a new event champion. To get to epic, it's just lots of gold chests. The most it's ever going to take you is 54 gold chests. I copied this earlier. Someone was like, it's 500 gold, but then they were like, no, it's 60. No, 54 because of pity timers on an event champion. For an evergreen, yeah, it would be 60 because you've already run your pity timers on regular gold chests. But for a brand new event champion, because it's the first time you're encountering that gold chest, the most it would take is 54. On average, I've found the number ends up being somewhere in the 30s. On average. There are times when it's 54. But there's also times when it's 4. Right? RNG is a fickle god. RNG is very fickle. RNG stands for random number generation. It's how you get random rolls in games, right? It can be very fickle. So you never know. You never know how many gold chests it's going to take. Just like you never know how many licks it's going to take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop. But the most it would take is 54 gold chests, right? But as long as you're getting to blue, you're getting a strong base of power for a champion, and they are functional from that point on. Slava, why can't we assign marvelous pigments to Dark Urge? You absolutely can. But the Dark Urge is a DPS champion. That is their only role. So the only pigment you'd ever be able to give them is a DPS pigment. That's the skull. That's the skull pigment. So you can't give them a froggy. They're not a support champion. But you can give them pigments. They're a DPS. You can give them 6 DPS pigments if you have 6 epic pieces of equipment. Big Gav, I have an item on Celeste that is gold with purple trim. Yeah, that's a golden epic. So I probably have the same one, like right here. Well, normally that outer orange trim would be purple as an epic. The outer orange trim is legendary, but I want to be clear, legendary isn't a rarity. Legendary is an effect. They just present it like a rarity. It's a little confusing. I've never purchased a golden epic, nor have I ever placed one. How did this happen? You used a code for the Celeste starter pack. There's a code. There's always like a code that's available for the Celeste starter pack, and it gives you It gives you gear for Celeste, and it gives you golden epic for her. Captain Wiggly, with corrupted gems, should I focus on buying support pigments? That's generally the best bang for your buck. So let's go over here to the Thayan Enclave. Remember, a support pigment, the little froggies, are triple damage to your party. That's a lot. 300% is a lot of percents, right? And it's just general. It's a lot of percents just to whoever your DPS happens to be. It's your whole party, right? Whereas like these golden epics, well, 460%. But you got to remember, what it's doing is, I know it says 460, you're like, that's a lot. An epic, normal epic, is 230%. So what you're getting out of the golden version is 100% boost. Are there times when this is worth it? Yes. But it's situational. It depends on the item and what that item boosts. Damage of all champions to me isn't, 20,000 corrupted. That's three froggies, basically. I'd rather have 3 times 3 times 3. That's 27x damage than a double power. In most cases. Again, very specific late game. There's very specific items that you might want that on. Yeah. Skins, hey, look, if you're looking for power, this is the way. Skins can be super fun. Last time around they had pirate skins. I bought them both because I like pirates. These are great. I do like them. I already have a skin for both of them that I like more. But yeah, could be cool. No regrets on skins. Skins are great. Because here's the thing. These golden epics and these skins, if you don't get them this way, what they're doing is they're giving you a way to get cash options for an in-game earnable currency. When they leave this shop, and they will eventually, like you can see down here, this says 6 days. They will stay here until the next emergence event, and then they will leave at the end of that one, the way these things are leaving. And then 3 months after that, these will go into the wild offer pool and become cash options. Feats will, after they leave, will become gem available, just like normal. So a lot of times I don't necessarily pick up these because these are smaller, like 80%. 80%. This isn't even a percent, but this one might be interesting, right? Because it changes very big deals. This might make her available in situations she wouldn't be available in. That might be a very big deal. There's a lot of people picking this one up for that very reason. So it depends. The feats, it depends. If it's functional. If it's a speed feat, I'm usually grabbing it. If it's a stat feat that qualifies a speed champion for a patron, I'm grabbing it. Right? Like there's scenarios where you would want these. Rest of the time, I just wait until they're available for gems. These I don't want. The chests aren't going to give this. This is gear for very specific groups of champions. They're already full epic for me. I'm not going to waste my currency here, right? Supply chests, consumables. I get those out of regular gold chests. I'm good. Modron component chests are like, because I do need these. The thing is, the chance that I'm going to get a directed cross that I want out of this, so low as to make it not worth it. So I go here most of the time. I bought a couple of these. That's why I have a couple in my inventory. I bought a couple this event. I'm going to buy a lot more, most likely. Modron chests from this become viable once I have support pigments, little froggies, on all my support champions items. All of them. Then this becomes where I would go. That's so far away. Unless I spend a lot of money. That's so far away. So this is the best power option. Generally speaking. But there are situational power available here sometimes. And sometimes available here that make it worth it, right? Just got to kind of figure out when. Hoopla Zoopla, do event tokens switch back after an event ends to generic tokens? Yes, but in a very specific situation. So the reason that I have these tokens here, 457, isn't because I opened bounty contracts after the event ended. When an event ends, those specific tokens will convert to generic tokens after something happens. And what happens is if you have greater than 7,500 tokens for an event, the game will auto-buy a chest pack at random from one of the champions that you unlocked during the event. And it will keep doing that until you have less than 7,500 tokens. Because you're supposed to spend them on those packs. And then it will take whatever is remaining that's less than 7,500 and turn it into a generic event token. So the rule there is, hey, if you want to buy something specific, buy it. If you don't necessarily want chest packs for the champions in that event, which I don't know why that would be a thing. Well, you never know. Late game and end game players who, if they ever do 2 rework champions and we already have them full epic, maybe we won't want to buy. Maybe we won't use our bounty contracts. But that's the thing. Just don't use your bounty contracts, lots of bounty contracts, if you don't want lots of chest packs. But if you do, yeah, there you go. Captain Wiggly, as a starting player, can you recommend what I should use green gems and corrupted gems on? I'm scared to spend them. We just went over the corrupted gems. You can never go wrong with buying support pigments. Okay. Now remember, they can only go on epic pieces of equipment, and honestly, you should save pigments for event champions, kind of like you save blacksmithing contracts for event champions. I will say that. They probably shouldn't go on core and evergreens until you have much more experience in the game and you do go, well, I understand the trade-offs here and I want to do it anyway, right? For green gems, though, again, when you're brand new, tons of silver chests until you have green or better gear on those core champions. Your core champions, specifically, if we go over here, champion origin core. These 12 champions, right? And Jarlaxle, right? When you're brand new and you don't have any other, you haven't unlocked any evergreens yet, these core champions, you open silver chests until they're green or better. And then you stop. And then you start buying, you buy silver chests and open them until they're green or better. Stop buying them when they're green or better, and you start buying gold chests. And in my opinion, then you never stop buying gold chests when it comes to which chest should I buy for gems. There's an argument for silver later on, much, much later on. Don't worry about that as a new player. Yeah. So spin them. If you have a lot saved up, buy a familiar. If you can afford a familiar, when you come over here and you like 46,000, you come over here and you click on the gem shop and there's a familiar available, buy the familiar. When you're new, the familiars are automation and quality of life, right? They make the game more enjoyable. Familiars are the one things you can buy. You can buy them with gems. You can buy them out of the patron shop, or you can pay cash. And it's the first thing I usually tell people: hey, what should I get with cash if I want to support the game? Familiars. You'll use them throughout your entire time in the game. They keep their functionality the entire time. Whereas buying like chest packs or whatever, you may easily overcome that later, that kind of power, whatever. But it's almost always you're going to love having a lot of familiars. So if you come over here and you have enough to buy a familiar, buy a familiar. Okay, but if you don't, that doesn't necessarily mean you should save up for the familiar. My general rule is if you come over and you don't have enough for the familiar, buy chests. Because the chests have power. Power helps you complete stuff faster. The faster you complete content, the faster you earn more gems, and then you might come over and suddenly have enough for that familiar. Right? Whereas if you try to save for something big, you're kind of hamstringing yourself. You don't have potions, you don't have the item levels, you don't have higher item rarities. It's going to take longer, become more of a grind, right? So spend your gems. When I'm on a new account, I just streamed my most recent new account, all of it. I played all of it on stream, and the VODs are over on my YouTube channel. Every time, I swear, every time I had 500 gems, I was buying a gold chest. Like, oh, 500 gems, buying a gold chest. Just open a single gold chest. Just trying to get that progress. There were times I did save up for things like familiars or feats. I had very specific rules. And I found it worked pretty well. But yeah, just spin them gems. Gems are power. X's 404. Are we always made aware when things are leaving the shop? If it's a DLC pack, or if it's the Thayan Enclave, yes. Like when DLC is leaving, they usually do a retirement sale and they announce it and it goes on sale, and it shows up here on sale and it'll say retirement sale. Ooh, hey, free stuff. If you bought a pack and then they put it on sale, you get free stuff. That's nice. Ooh, yeah, take that too. Any more free stuff? No, okay. So whenever they do a retirement sale, it will be listed over here that it is retirement sale as opposed to regular sale. And basically, once they retire, when they're retired out of the shop, they go into the wild offer pool. Now, with the Thayan Enclave, there's a timer. Like it says, hey, you've only got 6 days to buy these. But in reality, it's 6 days to buy the 10 that were available. Well, 8 now that were left over from the last event. See, 8 expiring in 6 days. The 10 is the restock from this event, right? And you'll see this one's out in 6 days. This means these were from the last emergence event. So things stay in the Thayan Enclave until the end of their next emergence event. Then they drop out. Then there's about 3 months where they're not available anywhere. And then feats go for gems like as normal, and skins and golden epics go into the wild offer pool. Captain Wiggly, as a new player, are there any consumables I should be worried about spending? I don't know about worried. Again, I would just say that with blacksmithing contracts, just make sure the better use for them is on event champions. If you've put some on core evergreens, just know that that's fine. But they didn't really need that. They could go save them for event champions. Obviously, I'm sitting on tons of things. That's because in games I'm a hoarder. So it's more about make sure you're putting them in the most efficient place. But just know, like, even if you put a bunch of blacksmithing contracts on Jarlaxle, you put a support pigment on Jarlaxle, okay. It's fine. Well, he's not a support, but if you put a support pigment on Celeste, it's fine. There aren't really mistakes that you can make in this game by using these consumables that you can't overcome with more time, right? The game's time-based, right? You can always earn that stuff back. X's, do the event reward feats eventually become purchasable if we miss the event for them? So this is something I can't demonstrate. And I'm only going to talk about it because we talked about gold feats and the feats in the shop, like the Thayan Enclave. There are rewards that are tied to completing event tiers. Events now have 4 tiers of progress: tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tier 1 is for everyone. Tier 2 requires a certain amount of power. Tier 3, even more power. Tier 4, even more power. This is progression tracking through the game. Not everybody can complete all tiers. Not right away. Eventually, if you keep playing the game long enough and you progress enough, you'll have the power, right? Generally speaking, right now in tier 3 and 4, they might, in one of those 2 tiers, they might put a feat. There was one time that all the tiers got a feat, but that was a very specific champion. Those are specifically progress gated rewards, and that is the only way to get them. So if there was a tier for like a feat available in tier 4, but you could only complete tier 3, it's never going to be purchasable for gems. You have to build up the power, and the next time the event rolls around, complete that to get it. Those are gated progress rewards. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do that thing to get that thing. Captain Wiggly, if I put a pigment on a piece of gear and get a better piece from a chest, will I lose the pigment? No. Again, You can't lose anything as your rarity goes up. It's just adding on top, which is a different part of that, different functionality of that slot. Crafty, what about feats with gems? I don't know. What about them? Crafty, you're going to need to give me a much more specific question. I don't know what you mean. Maybe this will answer your question. Gamer Rico, when is the best time to spend gems on feats? Maybe that's where you were going. So my rule of thumb for feats, based off, I start a new account like every year, play it, and then shelve it. Just to try to stay in touch with what are the best ways to kind of progress through the early game, and then I use that information in my guides. If you didn't know, I got over 170 guides for the game over on the subreddit, including one on items and one on consumables. So how do I spin gems on feats? On the most recent playthrough, I found the most efficient way that I did it was when I was saving up for anything with gems. If I made the decision to save up for something, I only did it if I looked at how many gems I was earning in a regular day of play. I multiplied that by 5, and if the total, like say I earned 3,000 gems in a day, I multiply that by 5, it comes out to 15,000. So that means I felt comfortable saving up and buying a 12.5k feat, 12,500 gem feat. And the only ones I was willing to buy were speed feats for speed champions I have, right? Something to speed up my progress in the game and my ability to earn gems. So that was all I targeted, and that was the rule that I followed. And once I had all of the 12,500 feats, I would stop. I wouldn't just try to get them all in a row, because I would run out of speed potions. Speed potions help me earn gems faster and complete content faster. So I would stop after a feat, and then I'd open a bunch of chests, I'd try to get my potions back, and then go back to trying to save for a feat, and I would do it like that in a cycle. Familiars, I did the same way. And then when I got to the point where I could earn 50,000 gems in 5 days or less, so I was averaging 10,000 or more a day, then I saved up for a speed feat then. Again, speed feats first. Speed feats first. Because that's going to snowball your ability to earn gems. And it's a big deal. Because then it makes it easier for you. Then you don't have like this period where you're just saving gems, and you're not getting progress, really, because you're not getting any more power if you're not opening more chests. So for me, the best time to save for feats is when you can afford to, without it taking too long. All right, I'm gonna go general questions. I think we're up to general questions, sir. I'm not gonna do it. The Gamer Rico, is there some kind of list of champions with their special effects skills? I mean, it's obvious when a champ is tank, DPS, or debuffer, and gold speed is straightforward. I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know that anybody has a list of that. There's 130 something champions in the game. I'm listing off all of their skills. Just having a post that just lists off their skills and effects, in one place? I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't make it, and I wouldn't, because it's so focused. I have a guide for every champion, but I have guides. I have a guide for like speed 101. It's going to have a guess what kind of champions are going to be in that, right? So I do, I'll do guides about a topic, and it might include a list of those champions. But I don't know if one's out there, I don't know where it is. And I'm not really sure what the purpose is that you're looking for. I guess that's part of the problem. Essie, I've watched your intro on Favor, but I'm struggling to get my head around when it's best to reset a run versus let my guys and hang out and grind at a wall. Yeah, okay. You have EO8 Torm Favor for context. Okay. So Torm is the Sword Coast, right? So what I can tell you about of Torm Favor is generally speaking, you're only in the Sword Coast until you only want to go in the Sword Coast to get Dritz to Erden, unlock Dritz, and then get this Gem Hunter feat, the +1. Whatever, I can't remember. My new player guide has the total favor you would need for this. I don't remember off the top of my head. Anything beyond that, you don't really need. You would just leave once you have those two things. Leave Sword Coast and go to Tomb of Annihilation, right? But how do you decide when to stop a favor farm? Basically, you push as far as you can go, and then mess with your formation. Try to see, is this the best situation? Is this the best formation? Because the best formation, this is something that's going to break some new players' minds. The best formation isn't about the best numbers up here. In fact, all of these numbers are garbage for the most part. This one's a straight up lie, and it tells you if you hover over this, hi, I'm a liar. This one's like, well, I'm not as much of a liar as that one. But they're liars. They're liars. The best formation is the one that pushes you the furthest. And that can be more closely represented by this number down here, your bud, your base ultimate damage. Base ultimate damage is your bud. The combination of this and how many areas you can push is the best thing. So mess around with your formation and different champions. That's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a big deal for you. Like, make sure you're building the most efficient formation. Once you know you've done that and you're just sitting there, generally speaking, there's no reason to spend more than 15 to 20 minutes at your wall, at your actual wall. Because usually you will have grabbed a bunch of favor. Usually it's more than what you had before. If you've been trying this repeatedly and you're sitting at the same favor, you got to find more power somehow, right? And that could be opening more chests or using, well, maybe not using blacksmithing contracts if you only have core champions, but yeah, opening more chests, optimizing your formation, going further if you're brand new in Sword Coast. Also spending that favor on blessings. Make sure you have warnings enabled, and then buy whatever you can buy that doesn't have a pop-up. If the pop-up comes up, go no, and then move to the next thing. But yeah, as long as warnings are enabled, spend. It's great. Okay. But after a certain point, yeah, you just need to get more power. And that's why usually I recommend in Sword Coast, bouncing after you get that tier 2 global, go somewhere you can get more power and more progression, come back later, and then you'll just destroy Sword Coast favor. But yeah, it's just overall you need more power and progression. You might need to optimize your formation, but 15-20 minutes, if you're going to go to dinner, yeah, leave it sitting there for dinner, come back. But don't get caught in the trap of, wow, it keeps going up. When do I leave it? Don't get caught in that trap, because it is better, 15-20 minutes, restart with the favor you earn, do the next run. You should go further, faster, and earn more. If you're at a place where you're not, then you need more power, and that can be a more optimized formation or just more overall power from a lot of these things we've been talking about. Biv, Justin really liked the idea of challenge cores. Did he? Mars's would clearly be the blue crew core. What would yours be? So here's the thing. This is a topic from Dev Insights. Somebody put up the idea of, well, like, what if you had a Modron core that had an endpoint that made it so that all of the power of your champions got reduced to as if they only had blue level 1 gear, which is blue crew. Mars does it. Storyteller Mars does a show every now and then that's his blue crew runs, and he shows you that blue gear is strong. The challenge core. I like the idea of a node that has a trade-off, like reduce it. Or maybe you can't use certain champions if you enable this node, but you get a reward for it, like almost like patrons, or if you were reducing to blue only, maybe it gives you more gold, or not more gold, more gems. Let's say you get a gem bonus from bosses by restricting champions, by restricting their power. As long as there's a valid trade-off, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I don't know. I don't know that you could make a whole core that way. It would be interesting because if the core doesn't, it would have to be something that isn't a pushing core. It would have to be something that rewards you, like I just said. If you could make a power trade-off for more gems, might be functional. That might be an option for a node. If you if it would increase the chance of like a gold chest dropping from bosses instead of silver chests for a power trade-off, might be good for farming. If this one's real specific, so I don't even know if they do it, but if it increased the rate, if it gave you a chance to get a named gold chest drop every 100 areas in a time gate instead of silver, might be worth it, right? Like there's certain trade-offs, but just the concept of, hey, I'm going to nerf your power with this core. Like, I don't want a core for that. That's a different game setting, right? Darlin Sir Gar, what do you think is the best map to push for favor in Turn of Fortune's Wheel? First off, favor in Turn of Fortune's Wheel is isn't a thing, right? We know this. But if you're gonna do it, you're gonna be dirty gold farming, and probably not the first one, probably the second one. I don't know. What you want to look for when you're looking for the best place to farm favor is the adventure with the fewest armored enemies, and by fewest, hopefully 0. It's much easier to push on a map that has no armored enemies than one that has some, has any, frankly. So that's what you're looking for, and I don't know that I've looked. It's been a while. I have E53 Fortune's Favor, and that's because I got into the high E20s when it first came out, and then I've just converted ever since. Every conversion has gone there. I don't know. I haven't done a favor run there in, it feels like forever. So I wouldn't know. But that's what I look for in any campaign. Let me try to get through these. Gabe, don't grab any more questions because we're out of time. This is probably going to go slightly over. Guardian, just got back to the game after like a year break. Welcome back. First off, if you had signed up for the time gate and you didn't delete those emails, go look for them. All those codes are still valid. Enjoy all that free stuff. Currently in the mid game, I think. I don't have a main party pushing party. I have a speed party. There's no specific hero that I like, and a few time gate pieces so I can get any I need. Should be so nice and show me the good universal main team idea that could get going and invest in. So, I mean, this is very subjective. I would try right away. I would try this code out, Jenny Get Gold, see if it still works. That was giving a Carlock as a champion. I did say newsletter. Didn't I say newsletter? If you signed up for the newsletter? Oh, whatever. Anyway, if you sign up for the newsletter, go get newsletter chests. Anyway. Jenny Get Gold might get you a free Carlock. I'm a big fan of Carlock. I use Carlock. I think she's great as for new players and old alike. And the champions that go with her are Strongheart and over here, Duke Ravengard. Those 3 champions together, I have now started calling the Holy Trinity. They are a great set of 3 starter champions who really synergize well together, and who, frankly, outside of those 3, like you just need a tank up front. I don't put Carlock in the tank position, and then you put Carlock and Strongheart next to each other, and away you go. Those 3 champions are super strong, and were the core of my progress on my most recent new player thing. And you can use all kinds of other champions with them. So for 3 champions, I think that's a great 3 to start with. And you have very little investment, like 50 average item levels even on blue gear, and they're strong. My Carlock was average item level around 50. She had 5 blues and 1 purple, and we were clearing with that combination and some other solid champions. We were clearing like a E300 bud. Moses, I've decided to buy all feats with gems. Ooh, good luck. I have 309 left to obtain. I estimate this is between 3.8 and 15.4 million gems, depending on value per feet. At what point do you think I'll lose my sanity? I don't know. I stopped doing that a long time ago. I tried, and then I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Maybe if I ever get a 9-jump Briv, I'll have enough. Samuel Kaufman, which event is Penelope in? I don't know anymore. And there isn't an easy way to tell. Hold on, let me look. Let me see if I made a note in my guide of which event she's in. I didn't. That's my fault. I don't know. It's one thing this game doesn't do well. If you don't have her, you can go over here to Champion Search in slot 12 and click on her, and it will tell you which event she is going to be in. But I have her, so I don't know. Captain Wiggly, last question. Do multiple parties have a significant impact to speed throughout the game? Usually when I have a background party on a new account, I'm just using it to earn me more gems. So in a way, yes, because I'm getting more power, because it's just, I'll put 2 familiars and Brunor back there, and I won't level up Brunor. I'll put a familiar on click damage and a familiar on the field, and I'll let it cycle with a Modron core, and I just make a lot of gems. So sort of. I'm missing a second champion for Makos, then I think it will unlock, wondering if I should prioritize trying to get a second champion for him to get a second party. Yes! That's the bigger question. When you're a newer player, picking the champions in events and time gains should be based off getting 2 in each slot so that you can do split the party and get your second your second party and your first Modron core. And then after that, you should focus on getting 3 champions in each slot. Even over, in my opinion, if you need them, that's more important. Getting to split the party 2 and your fast core, which is the second core you get, is more important than even strong champions. I'll even pick a weak champion if it's going to get me there in an event. Okay, even in a time gate. After that, you can build. There's 3 groups I recommend building: a speed group, a pushing group, so fast speed champions, deep pushing group, strong champions, and gold find group, which is gold find champions with high general gold find production. All right, we are out of time, folks. Hopefully this was good for you here in 2204. I am out of here. Thank you all for asking questions. Thank you, Gabe, for grabbing the questions. If you have more questions, you can always hit up the official Discord, or you can come to my channel, Twitch TV/Gaarawarr. It's right there. You click on my name in chat, toss me a follow. I stream Idle Champions on Mondays and Wednesdays, but then on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturday afternoons right now, I also stream other games, and we're starting a new game today in about an hour-ish. So stop on by, hang out. There's always people hanging out in chat. You can ask Idle Champions questions or just chill with us. We have a good time over there. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. I cannot remember the song we're going out on, so this is going to be a surprise for both of us. Bye, everybody.
Shining beacon in the sky, guiding light to those who cry for justice. On platinum wings they fly. Their scales will form a shield, making mercy they will wield. Unwavering till evildoers yield. Facing tyranny and greed, standing for the making free. From before the world was new, the platinum dragon flew. Here's the love of the North Wind, angel of the 7 heavens, king of the dragon. Bahama will fight injustice. Let's show him that he can trust us. gold. Takes no pleasure in the fight, uses words to make things right. Through the darkness they carry through your life. Raise your hands up to the sky. 7 songbirds with him fly. Platinum wings will shelter all if you just answer the call. Here's love of the north wind, angel of the 7 heavens, king of the dragons. Bahama will find injustice. Let's show him that he can trust us. Trust his weakness, he's enlightened justice. Join our ranks and stand amongst us.